welcome back to This Takes the Cake.
I'm Dallas Vickers.
I'm Sarah, and we are here to talk about a destination wedding we recently had. We had the honor to go to the beautiful country of Mexico.
So pretty.
So pretty, and I guess we'll just kind of dive right on in.
Yeah, so this was my baby's first destination wedding. Outside of South Carolina. I mean, outside of the United States at least, because
Okay.
we've been other places in the States, but this was my very first, and it was definitely, I mean, I didn't have any expectations of what it was going to be like. I knew it was going to be really fun, and it was, but we definitely had some like learning curves along the way, and just some characters as well.
No, for sure. And so I guess we'll talk with, doing all these destination weddings, and clients come to us and are like, oh, we're thinking about getting married here, but now we want to get married in Italy or some other places. And so we start doing the research and things like that. And then people, I guess, really back away when it comes to the hotel and flight, and that scares them. So, I mean, we do a handful every year, but not a ton. So if you're a wedding planner that's maybe wanting to plan destination weddings, this would be a good one to listen to. Or maybe you're a bride that's thinking about getting married in another country, this would be a really good one to listen to as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's talk I guess, do we want to talk pre-planning first?
Yeah, like before they even signed or all the way back?
We can talk, we'd never been to the venue.
Yeah, we'd never even seen where we were going besides online. So we kind of started with doing a normal consultation with our client, kind of talking about what they want, where they want to go. We did research on multiple different places outside of Mexico as well, of where...
I think we were all over. I can't even remember.
Oh my God, like anywhere that could do a flight from Charlotte, we were looking. So, we kind of researched a few different places, sent them all to the bride, and she chose this one in Mexico.
She did. And we talked about, where she thought her guests would be comfortable with, like a flight price from here and hotel, what we thought was reasonable. She did want all-inclusive, which was great. So
yeah, that was cool in itself.
I'd actually never stayed in a, like, all-inclusive.
Same.
And, like, anything you wanted to eat was free. I was like, you just get up, you don't pay.
It was crazy. It felt so weird.
So that was really cool. So obviously we narrowed it down. We helped her with like things like that. I will say the hardest thing with planning a destination wedding is we can't be there.
Yeah.
So we're just really relying on the hotel, the resort to get back to us.
Yeah, and it was for sure a learning curve for them as well, working with planners, because we're all up in their business and they're used to just sending a Excel doc that the client fills in the blank and like sends inspo photos, and that's it. But like that's not how our brains work. We need meetings. We need to talk to you.
Yep.
I'm going to need a FaceTime or a Zoom of what everything looks like. I want names of the places we're going. Like, we knew we were going to be having a ceremony on the beach. Okay, but what beach? This is I don't even know how many mile resort. And
it was huge.
There's multiple different beaches, multiple different accesses to those beaches. Like, where are we going? What are we doing? So that was something that in the planning process I had to really push for. And once the planners at the resort realized, like, oh, this is how it's going to go, they were a lot cooler with it, because at first they were like, why are you emailing me every week? And I'm like,
right, because she was like, wait till 3. And by the way, Andrea was the best.
She was
the best.
Amazing.
We want to do more weddings with her, by the way.
Yeah, I want her to come work with us here.
Right,
she's
for
a
sure.
beast.
And she's never been to America. I don't know. Did you?
I didn't know that. Oh,
I
yeah.
asked her. She'd never been here.
She'd kill it.
But long story short, their protocol is you don't send them anything to 3 months prior.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, well, here in America, that doesn't fly.
That does not fly. We want to know what vendors are being hired on. She's like, well, once you check off what you want, we find the vendor. I'm like, oh, what's their name, number, email? What do you mean?
Yeah, it doesn't work that way here, because we'd be, I mean, if we had a wedding in June or July coming, we wouldn't have anybody to work the, wedding.
Yeah, so it was very new and different for us, and at some point we were like, we just have to trust the process and know that we can keep everything on our schedule with bride and like make sure she's comfortable and handle the hotel stuff as much as we can when we get there.
And I highly recommend, if you do a destination wedding, you still need a planner as well.
If you want anything personal to happen in your wedding, I'm talking first look, like customized florals, if you want to do
even the small
private vows,
details.
like if you want to make sure that your mom's brooch is on your bouquet, all of those things, that's not included. It might say that it's included with your planner. let me say this: your planner at the resort is kicking ass in 20 different places.
Yes.
They are not making
Should
sure.
we tell them how many weddings they told us they did?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
should.
it was wild. So we asked Andrew, like, how many weddings do you do? Was it a week or a month?
I think it was a month.
A month. And it was
11 a month.
Yeah, I would say 12. I thought it was 12.
Or maybe
but
12 a month.
12 a month. And,
And
there's 5 planners in their office. So
What's
just
5
do
times 12? I don't like.
60.
Yeah.
So
a
that's
month.
60 a month. So no offense. For the details, something's going to be missed. And I can
Yes.
say that when we sat down, we did not take the bride when we got there.
Mm-hmm.
We sat down. There was a few things that needed to be tweaked and changed.
For sure.
That the bride requested. No big deal, but we handled it. But if the bride would have been there, like, it wouldn't have been
It would have.
good.
I would have been freaked out if I were the bride, like doing this myself
Yeah.
or with my mom or something.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about what happened when we got there, because the planning process was all virtual.
Yes.
We still had normal meetings with bride, and we went
And
through
it was a
the
really good
checklist.
deal, by
It
the way.
was.
If you want to get married in Mexico, go to this resort.
Yeah, and bring us with you.
Yeah. And it's well worth it.
Yeah, it is worth it. So, okay, walk us through our day getting there.
So
And, like,
we
the steps.
leave 5:30 that morning?
Yeah.
Yeah, we left super early. I think we landed at like 10
Yeah, we got there early, like
10:30
noon,
11.
yeah.
It was super early. We haggle with a person to get a vehicle. I mean, it was like stupid expensive.
I don't know if you've been to Mexico, maybe this is normal. I had never flown in. I've only ever driven into Mexico. But as soon as you get out
You
of
drove
the
to Mexico?
Yeah,
Sorry,
girl.
what? That just dawned on me.
well, in Arizona, there's like I would never do it again. It was so scary.
Okay.
But when we lived in Arizona, we drove to Puerto Penasco because it's right there. It's like a 2-hour drive away.
Okay.
And
Nice.
we got haggled in a different way at the border. But anyway, so when you get out of the airport, there's just people swarming who want to drive you to your hotel.
Yeah. And we're in Cancun,
swarming.
by the way. I know
Yeah.
we said Mexico, but we're in Cancun.
Yeah.
And this guy wanted to charge us like $350 or something.
Something insane.
And I'm like, that is more expensive than Miami, New York. Like,
Yeah.
we're in Mexico. We're paying pesos here.
Yeah, for real.
I'm like, oh, is that 300 pesos?
Yeah, Sarah kept going, is that pesos? He said, no, dollars. Sarah's like, what?
And so we had my boyfriend with me, and then we had Dallas's husband as well. And so they were trying to haggle and get a better deal. I think we
God.
ended up getting a little better deal. I
A
don't
little
remember.
bit.
But so anyways, we get in the van, and Peyton is with us as well. She's there for all the content of what's going down. And I'm pretty sure, did we not get like van sick on the way there?
Oh my God. Okay,
Right?
so first of all, we get into this van. The way that you have to open, there's no handle on the back door. It's just like a lever, like a pulley system. So he like pulls this, and then the back door's open. He puts our stuff in. Brox doesn't let any, like he stays with all of our luggage and makes sure those are in. Like, I don't know. It was a very odd situation. So Peyton and I sat in the back of the bus, and Brox was trying to give everybody some peanut M&Ms. We were like, we're going to be sick. Sarah's like holding on onto her seat for dear life. And we're just, trying to get there. But it was a pretty long ride to the beach. It was
It was about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Good little drive.
Yeah.
Once we arrived, one room was available, but one wasn't. That's
Yeah,
what it
I think
was,
so.
I think.
Yeah.
So we got checked in, but we immediately went down to meet with Andrea.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so glad and thankful we did.
Me too.
Because in person, you can get a lot more things done, talk through everything. We walked.
Yeah. See everything. Yeah, we walked the whole.
The estate property.
Oh my gosh, it was huge.
We needed a golf cart for sure. And we went and saw where ceremony was going to be, cocktail hour, reception, where the rehearsal dinner, welcome party was going to be, all the things. And then we got there before the bride, right?
We did.
I think
Yes,
we did.
they got
Just
there
by like
right
2
after.
hours or so.
Yeah, because we had already walked the space by the time she got here.
And we also made sure that her room was ready when she got there.
We did.
So we just made sure everything was good for her so there was no hiccups.
She didn't have to wait. She
Correct.
could just like get there and be the bride.
But she had pre-planned transportation, so they had a sign with her name on it.
Yeah.
So
Next time we'll do that for ourselves
Yeah.
as well. But she didn't have to worry about any of the hassling. The hotel had a car service, so
yeah,
we set that up for
yeah,
her.
that was great. So everything went great. Then we moved to rehearsal dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, that wasn't that night. This was just the first night getting in.
The first night, yeah. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about that.
Yes.
So first night getting in, the wedding was relatively small. Like everyone knew everybody. It was mostly family and close friends and everything.
Because the wedding was on a Friday and we got in
Yes,
on a
a
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Just because you never know about with flights.
Absolutely. So we get there and we're kind of just hanging out. Like we're trying to get the lay of the land. We had a whole, like you said, we had a whole meeting with Andrea, which was great. And then we're like on our way to dinner. We pass by the pools and we see a white hat and a bunch of little blue hats. And we're like, is that ours? Because there's multiple weddings going on. They're actually setting up for a wedding that Wednesday.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
There's weddings like every
day, every hour.
every hour.
It's crazy. So we're passing by and we see a little white hat and some blue hats sitting at the pool bar, and we're looking over there and they're having a great time. And that's Bride and all of her friends like hanging out. And we're like, okay, like their flight was earlier than us, so props to them, because all of us, our group, were like
in bed by 9.
We need to get some food and go to bed. Like that's what vibe we're on.
But we were texting her, I believe.
Yeah.
We didn't physically see her till the next day, right?
Yeah, we didn't actually see her till the next day. So the next morning is pretty normal, right? I can't remember.
Right? It wasn't even that long ago.
We do.
Yeah, everything was good. She texted us, and we told her we wanted to come meet her to get all her stuff from her.
Yes, yeah.
that
We wanted
morning.
to get her dress, her veil. They did a steaming service at the resort.
Highly recommend.
Highly recommend. We were a little sketchy about it at first because giving your wedding dress to someone is like, I don't know.
But they took the groom's suit.
Once we met everyone,
everything.
we were like, oh, okay, this is
Yeah,
legit. Like
we-
they took everything and then they delivered it back before rehearsal dinner and before the wedding the next day. So steamed everything. We looked at where rehearsal dinner was going, and they had done something that morning and they were taking it down, and then they were starting to put the stuff for our rehearsal dinner at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And we had rehearsal at 4?
Yep. Sounds about right.
So in our heads, knowing how things work here, we're like, is everything going to be set up in
Yeah.
time? Like we can't,
Yeah.
again, we just have to trust the process because we don't know these vendors. We don't even speak their language.
Right.
All we can do is kind of like stand there and hover and like,
and we don't speak any Spanish.
no, not
that
at all.
didn't help.
Well, you learned some. We'll get to that part.
Yeah,
but
no, for sure.
so we just are kind of making sure everything's happening. They're moving so fast. Everything's getting put together so quickly. And then we meet everyone down at the beach for rehearsal.
Yep. And rehearsrsal, I think, went fairly smooth. We're
Yeah.
missing the
We were missing a few
stepfather
people.
for a while.
We were missing Mom.
Mom. Yeah,
Mom was the last to show
Mom
up.
was having a good time.
She was having a great time at the pools.
Yeah,
And
she was.
She showed up, and then we were able to get started. Her bridesmaids were pretty persistent. They were like, we don't think we should wear heels. And Bride was like, I really want you guys to wear heels. So obviously, we want to do what Bride wants us to do.
Right.
And so all the girls are like, okay. So they're rehearsing in heels, like wedges at least.
Literally in sand.
In very fluffy Mexico sand. Like if you've been there, or if you've been to any beach at the, the dunes before you get to the wet sand, it's hard to walk in. And so rehearsal goes great. We do have a officiant. I don't know if we can talk about it.
Yeah,
but,
of course.
Okay, so our officiant had something wrong with his hand. He had injured his hand, and so he literally couldn't use it. Like he took it out of a sling out of the wrap, but he still couldn't use it. He would just kind of like hold it. So he's trying to read off his papers because he doesn't do this all the time. So like he has to read his script and everything. And he's trying to read off of his papers. They're flying in the wind. I mean, we're at the beach, like they're going everywhere. And he's like, I need a clipboard for tomorrow or something. And we're like, we got you. So we had to find a clipboard for him.
Andrea, she was on it. She
Andrea
had a clipboard
again.
for us.
Yep.
We asked her one
too.
time. She brought it, and she was awesome with those things.
There was we never had to send reminders. Like she was so on it.
Yeah.
Like the best wedding. Like I don't want to even call her an assistant. She was literally a lead, but like she was great. She just knew what was up. She knew how to
for
get everything
sure.
done.
So is this the night the bride stayed out all night, or that was
So the night before,
the night before?
the first
Okay.
night, they had woke up or were at least at the airport by 4 a.m. because they had an earlier
That's
flight than
right.
us and then a
That's right.
connection. And then they got to the hotel or the resort and they hung out all night, went to the neighboring resort.
Secrets, which we never
Secrets.
even walked over there. It was
We
a
didn't.
long walk.
It was like a mile, yeah.
I don't know. They walked it over there, and I guess they had a really good time.
They had a very good time. They stayed out until about 2 a.m. So at that point, they're running on like 2 hours of sleep or something crazy like that. And when I went to check on the bride before rehearsal started. She was like, I'm tired. I need a drink. I was like, okay, girl, let's go.
And she broke her nails, right? Was it one
Yes.
or two
Oh
nails?
my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so
And they definitely do not do tips or dip or anything in that country.
No, so we were trying to, they have a salon on site, and she had broken her nail that night, the night before rehearsal dinner, and she was, obviously freaking out. I would too. Thankfully,
Right.
It was like her pinky or her thumb, something
It
you
actually
don't
didn't look
see.
very bad.
Yeah, it didn't look that bad. Like, she was able to file it down, but we were trying to get her a
Yeah,
nail
I went
appointment.
and showed them. I was like this.
Yeah, like this.
They're
And they were
like,
like,
"No."
we don't do that. They just did, normal pedicures and manicures. But it was okay. We made it look good. And it wasn't in any photos, so that's good.
Right.
But that was another thing. And then rehearsal dinner went great. We didn't even have to really, we were in the area in case they needed
we
us.
just greeted all the guests, made sure everything went well. It was really just dinner and toast. I think it was like a 2-hour
Huge.
party, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't too long.
Yep. And then they went out after that as well.
They did.
And some things happened that night as well.
Yes.
Bride broke her phone.
Yes, like broke as in won't turn on or work.
Literally will not charge or turn on or work at all, which we found out the next day. So let's start from
Let's start wedding morning.
morning. Yeah.
So I think wedding morning we said maybe like 10 we'd go check on them.
Yep.
But it was even before that our phone started texting and
Yeah, we
asking
were-
questions and
yes.
things like that. So I think you went over there first. I forgot what I went and did.
I think you went over to ceremony or something in the morning.
Yeah, I went to go check out something, but you
talking-
went to
yeah.
the bride.
Yes.
And I remember you texting me and being like, the bride is so nervous. And I'm like, what do you mean how nervous?
And I couldn't really like text exactly like what was going
Yeah.
on when I went in there because I was trying to help her. But then you came up.
And then I came in, and I've never experienced a bride so dang nervous.
No, I mean, she was
Like, she was literally, like, in the
Full-
bed shaking.
full body shaking. She was
And I'm
freezing.
like, girl, does this girl, like, need to go to the hospital?
Yeah, it was a little, honestly, it was intense. And like her bridesmaids were like, she's fine. She just needs a drink. I was like, I think it's the opposite. Like, I think she needs
Yeah.
water. So we're giving her water. I order tea to the room. Room for service takes at least an hour, by the way, just so you
Yeah,
guys
if
know.
it's free, room service takes a long
Yeah,
time.
it's free. Yeah. Order her tea. She's like trying to chill out. Meanwhile, like music is bumping. Grandma's twerking.
Yeah,
Like-
grandma, literally.
Grandma was having the best time out of everybody there.
She was.
The makeup artist, I forgot to mention the day
Yep.
before, we scheduled her hair and makeup artist who, again, we had never worked with before.
Right.
Bride
And you
wanted
always
to
want to do a
use-
trial for sure if you've never.
Yes, and we offered to have someone from here come with us to do it, but she was like, no, I found these people on TikTok actually,
Mm-hmm.
and we hired them from there. So they were really one of the only vendors that we had known throughout the whole process,
Yep.
which was great because that's a very personable vendor to know.
Yep. And to go back to that real quick, so don't forget, if you're doing a destination wedding and you bring an outside vendor, you have to pay for that vendor.
Yes, yeah,
So I think it was additional $600 to bring in the hair and makeup.
just for a wristband to stay there for the day.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So things to think about when you do a destination wedding. You want to utilize as many vendors as they have on site, but obviously you want to bring S&B.
Yeah.
And
So
you
we
can
can
say,
approve them.
and you can just say that we're your friends, and they won't charge.
Yeah, no, we were
played
were
the
her
friend route,
friends.
yeah.
Same with her photographer was her friend.
Yeah, we were all friends.
Sorry,
so,
Andrea, if you're listening.
Yeah, love you.
She knew.
Yeah, no, she know.
But yeah, so I'm glad that she got to do that trial the night before, just in case, like, God forbid it was awful or something, or
They
she
were
didn't like it at all.
awesome.
But they killed it.
Yeah, they were great.
They were doing hair and makeup so fast, and yeah, that was like the least of our worries that morning. It was really just, bride was so nervous.
Yeah, that was wild. I remember at one point one of the bridesmaids went over and like rubbed her shoulder and was like, "If you don't want to get married, you don't have to."
That was the same bridesmaid that
Yeah.
then, like, we left, we came back, and all of a sudden there's drinks in her hand, and I was like, I thought we weren't drinking, and her bridesmaid goes, no, she needs it, and her eyes are like closed, getting glue on her eyes, and I was like, what? And the bride goes, no, I feel better. I was like, okay, different strokes for different folks.
Right. But she was still shaking up until the ceremony.
For
I've
sure.
never, like, I don't even think that was probably good for her body and her, like,
Her nervous system was all
Yeah.
kinds of freaked out. I think some people just get very nervous when all attention's on them.
Yeah.
And there's, so much is hyped up in your head about it. And if you don't get like time to think about it, I mean, she kind of just got to Mexico and went straight into, hanging out with friends mode. And then, wedding pops around and you're just like, oh shit. But
yeah, everything else was, going really well that day. They brought up the bouquets. That was definitely a boo-boo.
Let's definitely talk about that.
Yeah.
This is a number one reason, again, to bring a planner from home or SMV to your destination wedding.
Yes.
So I don't even know where to start. Like I said earlier.
Were you in the room when they came in? I don't think I was.
We were not. We got a text from the maid of honor she's a trooper. She really helped us through the day because, like I said, we were on this huge property. There's only 2 of us and Peyton and our boyfriends/husbands who were put to work a little bit too.
Yeah.
So it's
Brox
just like
was out looking for a phone at one point for Brooke.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, they got a Verizon. It's $1,500 if she wants a new phone.
Yeah, I'm like sending Jake down to the beach. I'm like, are they setting up chairs yet? He's like, I see beach chairs. I'm like, no, dude. So there, we're running around. Maid of honor was great, but we all we had done floral wise, like I said, we don't know the vendors. We're working with the hotel. We had sent the planner there, Andrea. We'd sent her inspo photos,
which is on this Google Excel sheet. So
that is so hard to use.
The picture I think we put on there was
so
very
tiny.
Small.
Yeah, so tiny. And
inspo.
We of course went over it together in Zooms and stuff, but like I said, to her benefit or detriment, they do 11 weddings a month, and that's a lot to keep up with.
60 a month.
Yes, 60 a month is even crazier. Florals get to bride and bridesmaid's room where they're getting ready, and we get a text from her maid of honor saying, these are so wrong. Bride hates them. She's freaking out. I don't even remember what all the text said, but it was enough for us to like look at each other and go like, we got to go up there.
Yeah.
So I think you go up to bride's room to see what they even look like and like see what's going on. I go straight to Andrea. They have a little like event planner office. So we were frequenting that office. We were in there all the time. I was torturing those poor people. Because if Andrea wasn't in there, then I was talking to like one of the other 5 planners who don't even know what the hell's going on. And
they're at another wedding right now.
Yeah, exactly. So I go in there, I find Andrea, and I'm like, girl, these are wrong. Sarah sends me a photo. They're like a very tight bouquet of white roses. Like 2000 style, not at all what the inspo was. Her vibe was still white and green, but very like tropical, looser, a little more romantic, not the like tight bundles. So I talked to Andrea and she's like, let me see what I can do. I'm like, I will literally pick.
Yeah, we started looking in the bushes, seeing what we could pick.
There's
and like,
plenty of foliage.
Yeah,
we were going to redo them ourselves and we were going to fix it regardless, but just so we could see, because then we were like, well, what is the ceremony arch going to look like? What are the florals for the aisles going to look like? What is everything going to be this now and not what we asked? So she, thankfully, this is amazing, again, that we got to work with such a good resort that has these resources like we would here. She was able to call the florist because they work together all the time and explain the issue. And the florist was able to put things together, made it perfect. It looked beautiful. Perfect. Like, I don't even know how they did that. Like I said, it was like a resource we would have here in Myrtle. Yeah. And I'm so glad that we have that. So
because Andrea had that relationship with that florist and was able to make that happen.
Yeah, exactly. So we were able to change them. Before we even did first look, I think we had the florals.
Yep, they came right back right before we went outside for photos.
An hour or two later.
Yep. And everything does run on island time here, vendor-wise, because I do remember the florals for the ceremony. Yeah. It was like 5 minutes before guests were starting to arrive, and they're still setting up.
Dude.
And, like, you can't do too much in the – they don't hardly speak English, so I can't be like, on delay.
Yeah,
you know?
so,
like,
okay, let's fast forward to that. We get first look done. We're doing photos. Sarah's down at ceremony learning Spanish. Like, she's on Duolingo. Like,
I got my translator.
She has her Google translator out. And she's
I'm trying to show him the layout. I'm like, no, not this way, this way.
Yeah. She's texting me. She's like, can we have sweetheart table over here? I was like, I don't care, like, whatever works. I was like, I've never seen the beach before. I don't know. And then she's like, dude, it's not out yet. Nothing's ready yet. Literally, I have all the wedding party, officiant, everyone at the closest restaurant to the beach in a covered patio area, sitting there chilling.
Was that Gaucho's place?
Yes, the one we couldn't get into.
Yeah.
So exclusive. I had them all sitting there, and Sarah's texting me like, "Not ready yet, not ready yet, not ready." Like
Literally.
they were literally putting florals down 5 minutes before Bride even walked that way.
Yeah, it was
So
wild.
we kept them over there as long as
they got
possible.
it done.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I mean,
And Andrea was never worried. She was like,
No.
no, it'll be done,
It'll be done.
which was crazy. She
Be
was
done to
also
the
there
minute.
like 10 minutes before.
Yeah, because she'd come to me. She'd be like, I got to run next door and go to that wedding. I'm like, okay, we got
Yeah,
you.
isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Like,
It was
what would she have done without us is, I'm sure she would have figured it out. But in my head, I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, that was wild. And then back to first look. Remember we couldn't find stepfather?
Oh, how could I forget?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We literally
so-
we walked around to all 5 pools or how many ever there was.
So many. Because okay, so I was hanging out with groomsmen, Sarah's with bridesmaids. One of the, I'm like, we're trying to find dad because there was going to be a first look with dad and bride
Yep.
first. So, or stepdad, same diff. So we're trying to find him, and one of the groomsmen's like, oh, last time I saw him, he was at the pool. And I was like, which pool? And he goes, the one with the bar. And I was like, well, that narrows it down to all 5. So I just tell Sarah that. Peyton's helping us too. She's trying to find him. And Sarah calls me and she's like looking. And she goes, what does he look like? And I said, probably like every other guy there, bald and burnt. Like literally. Everyone looked the same. Everyone at this resort was from the South, I swear. Like it was like leaving home to
funny.
go home.
Yeah.
Sarah's trying to find him. I'm looking for him. We also have her younger brother who's in he's supposed to be with the groomsmen. He's with dad though. So we have 2 people missing at this point. We're trying to get in contact with mom to get their room number because we're like, maybe he's in his room.
Yep.
So you eventually go back, you like make your way back over to bridesmaids where they're getting ready. You find mom, I think, or
Mom, somebody.
you find someone who knows the room number. Walkie-talkied over to me. Thank God we had those things. We had our walkie-talkies.
Yes, walkie-talkies.
Peyton's with me at this point, and she's filming this whole process. So we're mic'd up, and I'm just kind of trying to like sing my way through it, like like find these people. I'm like, everything's fine. We're supposed to have first look in 30 minutes, and we don't know if everyone is, but it's fine. So go to his room, and he answers the door, and he's like, "Hey, how you been?" I'm like, "Great, how have you been, dude?"
Was he dressed when you opened the door?
He didn't have a shirt on, but yeah, he was
Okay.
dressed. Okay. Yeah, and then little brother was in the shower, and so everything was fine. We found him, and he was so sweet. Like he was like, "I thought I didn't need to be anywhere till this time," and I was like, "No, sir. Like you need to be I'll meet you at the lobby in 30 minutes." So
and in hindsight, he was at rehearsal. We did pass out a bridal party agenda that did have all the info.
It did.
But people don't read it.
No, they don't. And I'm glad that we were there to help him do that because otherwise, that could fall on your photographer or your sister or your mom or someone who doesn't need to be doing all of that
Yeah, because
stressful
if you
stuff.
didn't have a team to run back and forth and do all that, you'd be one exhausted mom, maid of honor, sister, brother,
Like I really can't imagine.
going back and forth.
It wouldn't be a very relaxing day if you didn't have a planner there for sure. Because like I said, like those personal things, like all of that stuff, it's not really included in your planning package with the resort. Like they're not with you the whole day. They're not there to like, oh my God, at one point we had to go buy super glue from the store.
Glue, yeah.
And then you had to buy tampons too.
Yep, tampons, super glue.
Yeah. We didn't have our full emergency kit like we would.
And the super glue was funny because when you brought it to me, like I was gonna read the instructions, but it was all in Spanish because it wasn't like it was like one you had to like compound or something to make it stronger.
I didn't know that.
Well, it's okay, but anyways, you can take a picture and it translated to tell me.
Oh,
how
good.
To do
Okay.
It.
Yeah.
But yeah, we ended up trying to glue grandma's earring back, but it really needed to be like welded. It was it was heavy.
Yeah, that was hilarious because I was doing something else.
I think the bride started her
time.
period. She was the one that needed the tampons.
Yep, she did.
Yeah, that was wild.
We were like trying to calm her down she was very worried about her phone, and at some point, her maid of honor did the genius thing of saying, "No, it's a sign that you shouldn't be on your phone today.
Yeah,
like you should be in the moment." And then that changed her whole perspective.
Yep.
I was like, "Do you want a job?" Because that was great.
Yeah, that was
great
so good.
line.
Yeah,
so that changed her whole perspective.
Maid of honor, or she's matron because she's married. She was a former bride of S&B.
Yeah,
she was awesome. Yeah, she was a lot of good help that day.
She was like, I know the drill. So she was great.
Yeah.
We get bride down the aisle. Everything's awesome. It's like a huge, sigh of relief always whenever ceremony's over.
We all made it to Mexico and they got married.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
But I will say they did get married, I think a few days prior on paper in the U.S.
They did, and that was a suggestion you made, and I'm glad
Yeah.
you did, because it would be a lot more complicated
It's very
doing
complicated to
it there.
get married in another country.
It is.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. You might as well just do
Yeah.
the paperwork. You don't even have to, if you don't want to, you could just have it and then sign when you get back, or you could just do it beforehand
Exactly.
like they did.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, for sure.
huge suggestion from us.
I think one of the funniest things was you would transition everybody to cocktail hour, and they literally had already broken down the ceremony.
Dude, we look over, so everyone's at cocktail hour making sure that
Because they move all the
appetizers
florals.
are going.
Tell them that
They
part.
moved all the florals from their team, moved all the florals from ceremony over to reception.
And those are part of the centerpieces, which we
Yes.
didn't know that, but in hindsight, that's why
Worked
the
out.
florals were less expensive. And
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
exactly. Exactly. I was okay with that too. During ceremony, I think probably till we're sending the bridesmaids down, Sarah's still at reception area, which, by the way, 5 feet away from ceremony, like setting up. It's right next to them on the beach. So she's still over there. But then afterwards, there's already people taking down the chairs,
Yeah.
taking down the, like, raking the
They're
sand.
cleaning it up for the next wedding.
Cleaning up for the next wedding, and we look right before we transition over to reception. We look over. There's a guy on the top of a pergola putting
Setting
string
up
lights up, setting
for
up like a
a
private dinner or something.
Proposal dinner or something.
I mean, this
yeah.
thing's like a machine.
It was wild. I will say I was very impressed. I don't know how they
Yeah.
did it. I was out there, but they did a dance floor wrap in sand.
That's crazy.
Like, how did sand not just end up everywhere? Because, you know, when you go to the beach, I could literally lay my towel down and be like, okay, I'm not going to touch
Yeah.
anything, and sand's everywhere.
Yeah, I have no
They
clue how
wrapped
they
a
did
whole
any of
dance
that.
floor. So
They-
envision the dance floor on the sand, and then they wrap it.
They put lights up out there, which I know is a whole like difficult thing to do here because we've tried to do that
Yeah,
here.
it was windy that day, too.
and it was windy. I mean, these people they're well seasoned
Yeah.
professionals for
Yeah.
sure, and they
So
were great.
they did a really good job with the setup,
Yeah,
and
and they were willing to help and like use the translator app and
yeah. No, for
Sarah like
sure.
learned her left and rights in Spanish and
Yeah.
stuff. She's like a little bit that way.
No, they were
Reception,
great. Andrew was really good with helping with all of those things.
that too, for sure. DJ was awesome too. Music
So
was so
good.
on point. We went over it with him and he already knew all the songs and everything. He was a great host too. Like he did all
He
of
was
the
a great communicator. I love
Yeah.
that about
He was
everything.
awesome. He was like, "Are you guys ready?" He would check with us before we
Yeah.
could even get to him to check. Like,
It was great.
"You
I was
guys ready for me to
I was
announce
like, do you want
this?"
to come to the U.S.?
Yeah, seriously. Like, come
And he
over
spoke
here.
English.
Yeah, he did. Perfect English. Like, come over here, please. His music mixing was good too. But, yeah, reception was great.
Everything went perfect, I think. I mean,
Yes.
feedback from the client after the wedding, you know, she sent us a sweet text and
Mhm.
thank you. But, I mean, I never heard anything that she was disappointed.
Yeah.
You know, more it was exactly what they wanted. They loved it, all those things. I'm trying to think of what else happened at the reception.
I think at reception is when the personalities started coming out.
Okay, there is one part about the reception I definitely would love to talk
I
about.
know what you're gonna say.
Yes, and we love our bride, so I think she'll definitely
She'll laugh.
she'll have a funny moment
Yeah.
for it too. So we'd really been wanting to go to this hibachi place,
Yeah.
right? And we figured out how to start getting. It took us 3 days, but we figured out how to get your way around there, and that's just to give out $100 cash bills.
Yeah.
And once we started giving those out, we got whatever we
got
wanted.
whatever we wanted.
It was amazing.
Thank God for you and Brox being there. It was great.
So we went to a hibachi place
Mhm.
while they were dancing and having a good time.
Yep.
Which honestly, that was one of the best hibachi places I've ever been
It was
to.
so good. I still think about it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
And the guy doing the stuff, like that would never happen here.
he was so. You know what? You remember him saying, he always. Oh my God, he said the same thing over and over again, and Jake does it at home now because he like thought it was so funny.
Oh,
I'll
really?
think about it and it'll come to
Okay.
me later. Yeah,
That's funny.
it's something he
So,
said.
anyways.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, okay,
He
go.
kept going ooh ooh.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so Jake will be like making eggs in the morning, and he goes ooh ooh. He like did it 20 times in silence. It was so funny.
Oh my God, that's too funny. Okay, I'm going to pull up an exact text because we are at dinner and I think we're on the group text.
Yeah, all our communications through WhatsApp.
WhatsApp.
By the way,
Yeah, so when you, tell them about WhatsApp.
when you go to any foreign country, it's just smart. Everyone pretty much uses WhatsApp anyway for communication. So we had to download WhatsApp. And thankfully, Andrea let us know that beforehand. So she gave us her phone number through WhatsApp, and then like the hair and makeup
Hair,
people.
makeup. Yeah, we had a few contacts.
We had a few contacts, so that was comforting. And we had WhatsApp, so we would text her through that too.
Yep.
So we're sitting here at dinner.
And it is 9:13 when I get this text.
9:13, so it's well into the party.
And to know there's a language barrier too. So
Yes.
sometimes English doesn't translate to Spanish or
Yes.
Spanish translate to English. This is the text we receive, word for word. Just to let you know, the bride is taking off her dress and peeing in the bushes, just like some gentlemen and ladies. It has already been mentioned that the nearest bathroom is next to the veranda, just for your information. And I literally send a palm face, like there. This
Yeah.
can't be right.
Well, my reaction was like, that's freaking hilarious. So I text back, like, all caps, like, ha, 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 ha. And Sarah's like, no, I think this is a problem, Dallas. And I was like, oh, shit. I'm like, Andrea's texting us this because, like, this isn't okay. And I'm, like, laughing over here. So
we immediately, I think, get up from
we
dinner,
literally get up from dinner and leave and go down there.
go
'Cause
over there. And, like, what I'm about to tell you next is not what I was thinking I was going to experience. So I don't even know. You went one way, and I
went to the I went somewhere to the dance floor area.
and somehow
No, you know what? I was looking for the bride. I was looking for her.
You passed the bushes.
I passed right past the okay, keep going.
Out of the corner of my eye, I see the bride, and she is behind a bush, and she is butt ass naked, and
NEKKED,
Yeah.
naked.
naked. That is Southern slang.
Yeah.
And I walk over there, and I'm like, "Honey, what are you doing?" And she's like, she literally says, "Sarah, hold me up."
Sarah, I'm like walking
Sarah,
back.
Sarah, stop laughing. Hold me up.
Okay, so Sarah's literally in a sumo squat, arms out, like using all her strength to hold this girl up, like helping her pee in this bush. Her
friend is holding the dress.
Yeah.
Because when
the
I
whole
thought maybe
dress.
she just pulled up her dress
yeah.
and used the bathroom.
Same. That's what I thought. I was like, okay.
Okay, good, a little rewind. It takes like 10 minutes to go to the bathroom.
Yes, it is like a walk up to the beach,
Yeah,
from
it's
the
a long
beach back
walk.
up there. So honestly, I'd do the same thing. Probably pop a squat. I mean, there's a bush.
I'm not going to take my whole dress off.
Yeah, that was a decision under the influence. So the whole office is hearing this story. I'm like walking back thinking like, where the hell is the bride? And I hear Sarah go, Dallas, come over here. And she's like, come here.
Because I couldn't come get you. And I'm like, Brox, help.
And like Brox and Jake are laughing their asses off. I go over there and I like literally can't believe my eyes. Her whole dress is in the hands of someone else. And I look at it and then I look over at
And I,
bride's butt ass naked. And Sarah's holding her up, and I'm like, what do I do? And then Sarah passes her off to me, and I'm like, what the hell? So then we're both holding her.
well, I went to go get tissue.
Oh, yeah. You went to go get napkins.
She didn't need that. She
No,
said
so
she was good.
Before Sarah even gets back with anything, or maybe even before she leaves, she's stepping back into her dress. And she's like, get me back in here. And she stands up, and that's about the time I realized that we're not just at a bush, like, away from everyone. We're about 5 feet from the dance floor. Like, it is so close. And she's just boobies out, like, doesn't care. So we get her back in her dress. It's like sideways. We gotta like shimmy her back into it.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody knows, a wedding dress isn't the easy thing just to like zip up. Like
No, and it's a tight dress too. It's not like
yeah.
a ball gown or anything. Like
yeah.
that was so funny.
Oh my god,
that was a first. That took the
terrible.
cake for sure.
And I got one more for
Okay, go.
for her.
Yeah.
So we get her back on the dance floor, and I remember like, gosh, someone probably should be like, she was feeling really good.
Yeah.
And so she walked over to the DJ to request a song, and she had her
She
drink.
walked over to request "Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy,"
Oh,
which
did
had
she?
already been played twice that night.
Oh god! And she had a drink. I thought she was going to dump it all over as the thing, but she didn't. Anyway, she goes to make her way back,
Yeah.
and I don't know if she listens to this, if she remembers this. Do you think?
I don't think she does, because on our way up to her room afterwards, her mom was like, well, I'll tell this afterwards.
Okay. So, anyways, I mean, she face plants on the dance floor.
We watched it happen in slow motion.
Like, I wonder if she was bruised. Actually, I mean, we ran out there and helped her up immediately.
It was a
but,
rough
like,
fall.
Yeah.
I was like, cue the fire dancers, let's go. Like, I literally went, they were like getting ready
Yeah.
outside of the lights, like the lit area.
Yeah.
And I go, let's go. Let's bring them out now. And they're like, we're not on for another like 20 minutes. I was like, can we go faster? Like to distract everyone. Everyone
Yeah.
was really sweet. Like
And she
everyone
hadn't
was on the
eaten all
same
day,
level.
and she knew that, so
Yeah.
that didn't help matters.
She hadn't
but-
eaten all day. Everyone was on the same level. Everyone
Yeah.
at that wedding was like, they were gung ho. So
Yeah.
it wasn't bad, but it was really funny. And like you or Brox called it as it was happening.
Oh, what?
You were, I think it was Brox was like, she's about to fall. And then as like
Oh, yeah.
fall came out of his mouth, she
Literally.
went on the
Yeah.
dance floor.
Yeah, it was not good.
But I was going to say on our way back up, her mom and I were walking with her back to their room. And her mom was like, did you like the fire dancers? Weren't they awesome? And she was like, what? I didn't know that they came out.
yeah, she didn't see them, unfortunately.
She might have been sitting somewhere.
Maybe she was behind the bush.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So the last thing that happened before we went up, this was, last song had been played. Everyone's kind of, everyone that's left at the party is there to party. We'll say that. And we see the Mexican police marching over to us.
Oh, yeah.
And
oh, yeah.
Andrea's like, what's going on? She goes over there to talk to them. There's 2 guests behind the police. And I'm like, I don't know. You hear all the stories of like in other countries, like police aren't going to treat you the same. So I'm like, well, shit, like we're about to be, having
Yeah.
to deal with something. And Andrea brings them over and she talks to us and she's like, these guests were found peeing in the dolphin enclosure. And the guests that were found over there were like, no, we weren't over there. What the hell? This guy's bothering us. The guy is a cop, by the way, not just some guy.
Yeah, I'm like, these are the people you don't mess with. You're in another country. You have no jurisdiction.
Yeah, they're like arguing with them. And I'm like, okay, guys, like, it's okay. Party's over. Like, let's go back up there to the bar. Let's go to the pool bar. And they're like, yeah. And then they leave. And Andrew's talking the cop down. And the cop's trying to get them to like leave. They're speaking Spanish. We get the guys out before they can
we get
even
them.
like
Yeah, no, totally.
gone. But that was hilarious.
And we got them to their room, and I think we ordered them room service.
We
right?
did. Yeah.
Room
Actually,
service.
before we even left the beach, we asked Andrea to get a quesadilla to the room.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's
How
little
fitting.
Yeah, exactly. There was a little like box in everyone's room and they just like slipped it in there.
Yeah. No, that was cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
awesome. But overall, it was a really fun wedding.
It was really cool. It was a very
Lots
fun
of,
experience.
fun memories. It was a great time with
Yeah.
Brad and all of her peeps. And
Yeah.
overall, it was really fun.
Yeah, we felt like family by the end of it for
Yeah,
sure.
no, for
Her
sure.
family was really sweet. So it was definitely cool. It was an experience.
For sure.
I'm ready to do another one. Hit us up.
I know, right? Italy, Greece, where to next?
Wherever the wind takes us.
Yep, wherever you want to get us a ticket to.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, I think that definitely takes the cake.
For sure. For sure. I hope everyone listens to this and decides to do an abroad wedding.
All right, till next time.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.